21. Between 1985 and 2003, data were collected every 3 years, and the amount of plastic produced annually in the United States in billions of pounds. The graph below shows the data of the line of best fit. The equation of the line of best fit is y equals to 3.39x plus 46.89. All right. So what is the following? Which of the following is the best interpretation of number 3.39 in the context of the problem? So 3.39 is the rate of change. So every year, it is amount of plastic in pounds that produced. So amount of plastic in 1985, no, that's a rate of change. Number of years it took, no. Average, no. It's an average annual increase, yes, increase from 1985 to 2003 in billions of pounds. So it is D. 22. Which of the following is the closest to the percent increase in the billions of pounds of plastic produced in the United States from 2000 to 2003? 2000 to 2003. So it is from 1985. So from 2000 to 2003, 2000 will be 15. From here to here, that is I'll say about 20. So 20 divided by, in the beginning it was like 110. So 20 divided by 110 is about 0.18, or you can think of it as 10 out of 10, 10 out of 100, so 10%. The other numbers are too big, right? It can be 44, it can be 770. It increased about 10%. Okay. The equation above models the number of members M of the gym T years after the gym opens. Of the following, which equation models the number of members of gym Q quarters years after the gym opens? Quarters after. T is the number of years, so you have to divide that by 4, right? So you have to divide that by 4, and that, yeah, right? 4 quarters equals to 1 year, so you have to divide by 4. For the finale of the TV show, viewers could use either social media or text messages to vote for their favorite of 2 contestants. The contestant receives more than 50% of the vote won. The estimated 10% of the viewers voted and 30% of the voters were cast on the social media, and contestant 2 earned 70% of the votes cast using social media and 40% of the votes cast using the text messages. Based on this information, which of the following is an accurate conclusion? Okay. If all viewers have voted, contestant 2 would have won. So again, let's go back and read this one more time. So they have more than 50% to win, and estimated 10% of the viewers were voted, and 30% of the votes were cast on social media. So out of 10% and 30 of 10% were social media, and contestant 2 earned 70% of the votes cast using social media and 40% of the votes cast using the text messages. Which of the could be accurate conclusion? If all viewers have voted, no. Viewers voting by social media were likely to be younger than viewers voting by text messages. That's not what we are talking about. If all viewers who had voted by social media instead of by texting, constant 2 would have won. Viewers voting by social media were more likely to prefer contestant 2 than were viewing voter by text messages. Right, because 70% of them use the social media and 40% of them use the text message. So we can conclude D is true, right? There were more social media voters than voting by text messages. 25. The table above shows the population of Greenleaf, Idaho for the year 2000 to 2010. If the relationship between population and year is linear, what is the following function P models the population of T years after 2000? So after 2000, you start. This is y-intercept. Y equals to linear means mx plus b, and it decreased by 18, 62 minus 46. 62 minus 46. It decreased by 16 in 10 years. So the rate of change is negative 1.6, and the y-intercept, the initial value that we started with was 862. So 862 plus negative 1.6x is the equation. So if you rewrite it, if you write 862 first minus 1.6t. So it is A. To determine the mean number of children per household in the community, Tabitha surveyed 20 families at playground. For 20 families surveyed, the mean number of children per household was 2.4. That's a lot. Why? Which of must be true? This is biased because they had surveyed 20 families at a playground and only the family with kids will be there. So it's not accurate. So let's see. The mean number of the children per household in community is 2.4. No. A determination about the mean number of the children per household in the community should not be made because the sample size was too small. Kind of, but that's not the only reason. The sampling method is flawed and may produce a biased estimate of the mean number of children per household in the community. That is true. The sampling method is not flawed and is likely to produce the unbiased estimate. So no, it is biased because only the families who have kids will be at the playground, right? So the number will be obviously greater than what it really reflects. The xy plane, the point P, R lies on the line with equation that, okay. So this is your x and y, so we can plug it in. X and y, so y is r equals to P plus B, where B is constant, okay? The point with coordinate 2P and 5R lies on the line with equation that, so that means this x and y will work for this equation, just like these two. So then we can plug it in. Y is 5R equals to 2 times x, 2P. X is 2P plus B. So 5R equals to 4P plus B. So what is R over P? So let's solve for B, right? And then let's set them equal to each other and find the R over P. So B, you have to subtract P from both sides. So I get R minus P equals to B, which is 5R minus 4P, right? Move 4P to the other side is B. So now you can set these to equal to each other because B is the same number. So R minus P equals to 5R minus 4P. So let's put R's and P's together. So let's move P by adding. And let's move 5r by subtracting. So this is negative 3p equals to negative 4r, 1 minus 5. So what are we looking at? R over p. So r divided by p. And divide by negative 4 to get rid of this. Becomes negative 3 over 4, which is 3/4. B, right? R over P is 3/4. 28. The 22 students in their health class conducted an experiment in which they each recorded their pulse rates in beats per minute before and after completing the light exercise routine. The dot plots below displays the results. Okay. So as you can see, this is more widespread than this. It looks like a lot of them are in this range right here. So let S1 and R1 be the standard deviation and range. So standard deviation is the measure of how spread out the numbers are. So this one has more standard deviation, and range is the highest minus the smallest. So for this one, range is 32. Here the range is 32 range, right? 88 minus 56 is 32. So they have the same range, but standard deviation as this one is more widespread, so that one has greater. So for this, it's greater. But range were the same. So this can be true. So it has to be D. They're not equal, but the ranges are the same, right? Because this was wrong. So even this is correct, this is also correct. Greater means different. So D. 29. A photography machine is initially loaded with 5,000 sheets of paper. The machine starts a large job and copies at a constant rate. After 20 minutes, it has used 30% of the paper. Which of the following equation models the number of sheets of paper remaining in the machine n minutes after the machine started printing? So after 20 minutes, so let's look at the rate of change. After 20 minutes, it has used 30. And we are looking for minutes after started printing. We want to know how much remaining it is. So if you use 30%, 70 is remaining. So 70% of 5,000 is 0.7 times 5,000. So 5,000 times 0.7 is 3,500 remaining. So 3,500 is remaining. But how much was it decreasing? So we actually need to get 30% of it, 0.3 times 5,000, right? To get the rate of change. Yeah, I put 50,000, so 5,000, it is 1,500. So it decreased by 1,500 in 20 minutes. So that's a rate of change. And we started, X started at 5,000. So the rate of change is 1,500 divided by 20, which is 75. So it's minus 75 linear from 5,000. You subtract 75 each. 30. The complete graph of the function f and table of the values for the function g are shown above. The maximum value of f is k. Maximum value of f is k. So k is 3, right? The maximum of f is 3. What is the g of 3? G of k. G of 3 will be here, so 6. Right? So it is B. There are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen in 1 molecule of water. How many atoms of hydrogen are there in 51 molecules? So there are 2 atoms of hydrogen in 1 molecule of water. So for 51, it's 2 times 51, which is 102 hydrogens, right? Atoms of hydrogens. 32. If x equals to 1 in the equation above, what is the value of a? X is 1, so 1 minus 1 over 2, a is 0. So 1 minus 1 must be 0, so 1 over 2, a is 1, so a is 2, right? Times 2 to get a, so a is 2. 33. In the xy plane, the equation x plus 2y is 10 and 3x plus 6y is c. Represents the same line. Same line means it's exact same thing. So you can just double all these, will be same, triple them will be the same. It's 3x. So if you multiply this by 3, it's 3x plus 6y equals to 30. And if these two are same, c must be same as this number, which is 30. 34. On April 18th, 1775, Paul Revere set off on his midnight ride from Charlestown in Lexington. If he had ridden straight to Lexington without stopping, he would have traveled 11 miles in 26 minutes. In such a ride, what would be the average speed of horse have been to the nearest tenth of the miles per hour? So this was miles per minute.
For me, it's
So 11 over 26 minutes, but now we want to convert into miles per hour. So we have to look at how many minutes we have in 1 hour. It is 60 minutes in 1 hour. So in that way, we can eliminate the minutes and convert into hours. So it is 11 divided by 26 times 60. So we get nearest tenth, so 25.4 miles per hour. 35. So the graph of the function f defined by that equation is shown in the xy plane above. So if the function g now shown is defined by g of x, negative x plus 10, what is one possible value of a such that f of a is equal to g of a? So when we plug in the same x, it's equal to 10. So start from 10. Defined by g of x equals to that. What is the one possible value? So that's a negative slope from 10. So it can go like that, right? It can be 0 that way. If it's 0, then y is just 10. But if it says negative, so it's safe to do that. or we can do down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. It's not exact, so probably 2 is a good idea, right? This one, it will have y equals to negative 1 over 2x plus 10. Then they will intersect at 8 when a's are 2. So it can be 2. 36. In triangle RST above, point W not shown lies on RT. So somewhere here, here's RW, could be anywhere. And what is the value of cosine of, so this is W, cosine of RSW, cosine of that, minus sine of WST. So if this is theta, this will be, they add up to 90, so it's 90 minus theta. And you should know by now, sine of theta equals to cosine of 90 minus theta. Okay? So those two are equal to each other. Sine of this equal to cosine of that, 90 minus theta. So the difference will be, since they're equal, is 0. Yeah, so this means if you have a right angle, if this is theta and this is also what? This is 90, so these also got to add up to 90, 90 minus theta. So sine of theta equals to cosine of this. Sine of this equals to the other angle, non-right angle, cosine value of that angle, always. So again, if this is A, this is B, then sine of A equals to cosine of B. Okay, 37. A patient, so here, when a patient receives a penicillin injection, the kidney begins removing the penicillin from the body. The table and graph above shows the penicillin concentration in the patient's bloodstream at 5 minutes interval for 20 minutes immediately after following a one-time injection. So 37, according to the table, how many more microgram of penicillin are present in 10 milliliters of blood drawn from the patient 5 minutes after the injection than the present in 8 milliliters of blood drawn 10 minutes after the injection. So 10 milliliters per milliliters. And it says it's a bloodstream at 5-minute interval for 20 minutes immediately following a one-time injection. So the first one is 118, but it was for 10 minutes, wasn't it? 10 milliliters of blood drawn from the patient 5 minutes after. So it is 5 minutes after that, 152 times 10 minutes, which is 1520. And the next one was 10 minutes after for 8 milliliters. So 10 minutes here, 118 times 8 minutes, 8 milliliters, you multiply it, so you get 944. So the difference will be 1520 minus 944, which is 576. So here, 152 times 10 is easy. 118 times 8 is 944. So you find the difference. How much more? How many more, right? So you find the difference. So 5676 milligrams. 38. The penicillin concentration in micrograms per milliliters in the patient bloodstream T minutes after the penicillin's injection is modeled by the function of this. If P approximates the value of the table to within 10 milligrams per milliliter, what is the value of B rounded to the nearest tenth? So just pick one. So it is, so we can just use this one, right? The one that we use, 152 for 5 minutes. So it's 152 for 200 times B, and 5 minutes, 5 over 5, so that's easy. It becomes just 1. So it's 152 equals to 200 times B to the first power, which is B. So now we just divide by 200. So you get 152 divided by 200 equals to 152 divided by 200. So you just got to multiply by 10, right? Since I divide by 2,000. So it's 0.76, but it says round to the nearest tenth. So it's 0.8. You can put 0.8, 0.8, or 4 over 5.